Hi, this is Kim Bellissimo. I'm an energy worker and healer, and today is EnergyWorks, and I am inviting you to join me in a relationship as we move into a new relationship in a new way in our lives and in the world around us. This time is really turned our whole world upside down, and probably our relationships too. And it has affected people in a lot of different ways. There are so many people that are isolated and alone. And even if they are with family, they feel disconnected. Hi, Doris. They feel disconnected, they feel separated. So you can be living with a lot of people and still have the experience of being alone. And with COVID, it is becoming even more great because we're looking at people and we can't even see their face anymore. We can't see, we're seeing a mask. We are seeing just, we can't even read them. So we have to learn how to see in this time in a new way because our eyes are not going to be telling us what is actually going on in relationship. So, this invitation of relationship is about being connected, is about co creating and getting into greater whole. And so, what does that mean? For example, my niece picked this flower, but I was just out in nature and I saw these beautiful daisies and beautiful flowers. And when you actually, so this flower is for you, and just open up and receive this. And when I am out in nature and I see a tree, I see a flower, I'm saying hello to its spirit. I'm saying hello to its energy. Everything has energy in it, everything vibrates. And when you can see the spirit, even in flowers, I was sitting at a table and a kid kind of walked by, picked a flower, and I could feel the energy of that flower just kind of go into pain. There was no permission of connecting to the flower, of asking, hey, can I pick you? Let's have an exchange, my energy to you, your energy to me. And when you have an exchange in relationship, relationship moves and flows. So there's three things in relationship. The first thing is connecting. And connecting is just saying hello. It's like, hello, hi. And I'm saying hi to all of you. And here is a flower for you, a gift. And this space right out here where I'm holding the flower is a very important space because when you kind of present something to somebody that you're in relationship with, or even if you're not in a relationship with someone, this place right here is a very neutral place. It's a place where we make our offering. It's a place where we're open and we want to connect. It is a place where we can say hello to someone and their spirit, even if we don't like them. But what is we find more often in this time, especially being isolated, trapped in our house, and I'm in a house right now. My in-laws rented a house, and so there's like 12 people up in Tahoe, and everyone crammed in this big house. But so a lot of personalities, a lot of kids from different ages, and it's actually great because with so much isolation, or maybe we just have our families at home, or you're alone, and it's just nice to be around a lot of people. But for many people, it's hard to have your space, or you can get upset or overwhelmed, or the personalities and dynamics start to arise. And how we see people, is how we're going to create relationship. And we can't really trust what we see because people are wearing a mask, not all the time, but they are. And how we read things is off. and what you've known from the past and bringing your past with you in present time into any relationship will not work. So I'm offering, and we're going to be working tools today of a new way of being in relationship. When we look at maybe, even if it's a person that you are in relationship with, it could be, a parent, it could be a partner. People tend to look and see what's wrong with that person, what they don't like about that person, or they're focused on what that person is not doing. And a relationship, especially in the beginning, it's like there's a lot of energy between the two people. People show up, their energy is present. And then about 6 months into that relationship, now you start to see dynamic. Now you start to, not necessarily people say you see who that person really is. That's not the case. What happens is we start to entangle. And entanglement means we're focused kind of on what's wrong with that person. And if we're focused on what's wrong, and maybe too, it's I know even a long time ago, my husband had an injury. And so having an injury, people can disappear, people can check out. And, the other person starts getting, feeling unsafe and wondering, okay, what happened to this person? They were here. And I'm sure this has happened to everyone that, you fell in love with someone, you like someone, and then what happened to them? They're gone. What were they playing? Were they just playing a trick on you? Not necessarily. But what happens is we start to focus on what is wrong with them. And if we're focusing on what is wrong with them, that person doesn't have space anymore. And then we start to react and we start to feel insecure about ourselves or about the relationship. And so it's very important, especially in a relationship, no matter how old the relationship is that you are saying hello or saying hi to the person's spirit. When you can just look at the person's spirit in them, and they may not be spiritual, it's not necessarily about being spiritual, but when you can acknowledge spirit, it's like the spirit of this flower. When I was smelling the flowers started connecting to me. I started to be in a relationship with the flower and have an exchange with it. Now, you may not be able to hear what the flower is saying, but nature is so important because when you go out in nature, everything has a spirit. Everything is alive. And when you can see the aliveness, the spirit in what you're looking at, in what you're relating to, then you will never feel alone. But with people, it's very different because when we see like what we don't like, and you know what, we could have every reason to see what they're doing is wrong, but if you continue to focus on it, it'll go downhill very quickly. I know so many people where, they get into relationship and what typically happens, and there are stereotypes too. It's kind of like one partner is nagging the other partner and the other partner checks out. They disassociate and they don't quite have the space and everything they do is wrong. They don't get it right. And vice versa, where the other person that's nagging, the person has, checked out, and so they feel abandoned. And being abandoned, then, they start to create this dynamic that isn't even really relationship. It is where it is survival. And so if we can approach everyone that we're in relationship with, or maybe even try it, here we are. It's like when I have a session, the session really is about the heart. It is about a relationship and it's an invitation. What I'm doing is I'm inviting that other person in relationship with me. And together we are looking kind of at their life, at an intention, and we are looking to connect to that with our heart and be in relationship with that. And and then what we're looking to do is communicate, and with the exchange, it's kind of this exchange of your energy, the exchange of my energy. And with that exchange, what happens is that we can create something greater together than we can apart. And so this is the magic spot right here. And so, and it's amazing too. I was just talking to a client. She said, I can say this. She manages several different locations, and she just got a new location and to manage, a lot of people. And everyone was very reactive. They were kind of attacking her. And because they've been in a space and in an environment where they were never supported, they were always undermined. And so the space was never safe. And it's funny because here it's a lot more work. And literally within 2 weeks, she is pretty much doing kind of what energy work is based in, connecting her heart kind of to this offering that we are saying hello to a space that's safe, a space of play, of joy, and just in her relationship with these people in 2 weeks. They love her. And we are laughing because she's not really doing very much. But she is. What she's doing is she's holding space. She's creating a space where everyone can show up. Because have you been in a relationship and where you've been judged or criticized, and then you feel that, and you can't show your spirit, you can't really be yourself. There's no space for you. And so just in 2 weeks, people relaxed, and she's connecting with them. And in this time, it's so important for us to really look at people instead of seeing how different they are or how separate they are or what their differences are. Because when we see them as different, or when we see maybe our partner is watching TV so checked out, and you can feel the cloud, the peppermint patty cloud of depression, and people hit that at different times in their life. But if you go into that and start nagging and start complaining, you will absorb all of that energy and you will become depressed. And so it's important in being in a relationship that we are really in relationship, not only kind of this space, this offering space, like we are offering kind of the people with us unconditional love, we're offering joy, we are offering, whatever it is that you're offering. But this space is important because this isn't just about me and you, but in this space, there is space for light, space for God, space for spirit to come in. So when you acknowledge spirit, what happens then is you could start to feel another energy within the space. And this is where the magic happens. Because if I see spirit in you, which I'm saying hello to your spirit, and if you can say hello to my spirit, now we're going to create something that we don't know, that we don't even have an intention about. Like we are moving our hearts into relationship and saying hello to the unknown to see what comes through. And sometimes people lose their way. Sometimes they get so overtaken. And I see this a lot where, especially if you get a family and you have kids and there's so much work being done that people are going unconscious and people are not present anymore and they start to disappear. And then your heart breaks, you become depressed, and then so many people feel so alone in their relationships because the person isn't giving them the attention they need or the love they need. But what I'm saying is instead of focusing on them, because if you do, you will become that. You will drop your energy right down to that. I want you to focus on your spirit, and you can say hello to their spirit. They may not change, but what's important in relationship is not being attached. It's like I can be up here with 12 people, and I have to admit, over the years, it was difficult. It was extremely hard. And now I'm not attached. I'm not attached even, I love my kids, but I'm not attached. I'm not attached really to anyone here. However, I love them. And not being attached creates the space where if people are doing some stuff that may trigger you, oh, that's fine, because you're just going to go off and you're going to take this intention, this offering of joy and love, you're just going to move somewhere else. You're going to go out in nature. You're going to do the things that fill your spirit, because ultimately it isn't that other person that is going to fill you. It's spirit, and being in a relationship with spirit. So if we can connect to our spirit, kind of from our hearts, we connect right out here. I always call it the diamond space, but where I'm using this flower today. And then there's this, I'm giving to you and I'm receiving. And how many times too, even in your relationships, do you give a lot? Now here's somebody's knocking on the door. And you don't receive very much. It's like if you throw a lot of balls out, and especially if people start to disappear in relationship, maybe you'll find yourself overcompensating, overgiving, overdoing, because you want their attention. But that really doesn't work. And so when we can have kind of this relationship with spirit, what happens is if I give to you and you don't give back and you hold all those energy balls of giving, I'm just going to pull my energy back. I'm going to just be in this circuit, this flow. And really this relationship is a vertical one. I'm asking God, I'm receiving. I'm asking spirit, I'm receiving. But we take the vertical and we move it then to the horizontal. And so when you approach, like I talk to trees, I talk to nature, I say hi to all kinds of things. I say hi to the window or even objects because, because my dad is a hoarder, because of abandonment, because he was abandoned early on in a lot of foster cares, his relationships were with objects. And so what happens is objects then, what happens, we run our energy to the object. When I was organizing, I remember I organized a 101-year-old woman. We moved her, and this was a long time ago. And she said, this face outlasted like 9 of my husbands. It has been my friend. It has been with me. It is constant. It is stable. And, there is attachment. She had to let go of all of her husbands, but the vase was still with her. So even with objects, we're in relationship. And if you want relationship, it's very important that whatever you are doing, I want you to notice kind of how you are in relationship, even with objects, because it starts with objects and then it moves out to everything. That if you can see the spirit in everything, if you see the spirit in me and I see the spirit in you, there is so much freedom. There is no attachment. And then we can let go. We don't have to have that person, across from us be a certain way or do something in order to fulfill our lives. Because if we don't get it, we can just, go off and do our thing. And this is where nature really helps, because now, some people are very isolated. But if you could go out in your yard, if you can look at a tree and connect to that tree, and to read now, to really be in relationship, because our relationships have changed forever. And you may find that you are arguing more, maybe with people around you. You may find that, your relationship's falling apart. Maybe your marriage, or, at work, the relationships are falling apart because people are undermining you and people have a lot of stress now. And so, how are you going to approach that? Usually, we approach that with a closed heart. But I want you to place your attention within your heart. And when you do, then you can just create some space for yourself. You can create and just say hello to this relationship, the most important relationship there is. And that is that relationship with you and spirit within you. And by connecting to your heart, all the heart wants to do is, I don't know if Instagram keeps going out, but all the heart wants to do is to be in relationship. And so connect your heart out to the offering space, saying hello to spirit and whatever you look at. Any object, just saying hello to it like it is alive. It vibrates. And that vibration then, creates this connection. And then we start to communicate. When you're with certain people and you have that flow and there's that communication and excitement and it just keeps going and the energy just starts moving, it's because of this exchange that happens. But it's so hard when we are with someone and they don't communicate, they don't talk, they're kind of shut down. And then we start to drop our energy. So I invite you to just say hello to people's spirits. And don't even get engaged with trying to prove a point in this time or focus on what's wrong with them. It's a waste of time. Really just focus on saying hello to their spirit. And if they can't meet you, you can let go. It doesn't mean you necessarily need to leave your relationship, but you can live your life. You can be filled with spirit. And when you are, new things happen, excitement occurs, and a new way of being in relationship where, it's important we do not see ourselves separate from one another, that we must see that energy and spirit in one another, that we are connected to one another. And that's a heart connection. It's kind of like connect our hearts together, and it creates this relationship, and we are in agreement to co-creating, to creating greater whole, that I'm seeing you and your miracles and you are seeing me and my miracles. This is agreement. This is the type of relationship that we can be in. And in doing that, we're never alone, because connection goes beyond just seeing someone. You can have it with anything. And so this circuit of connecting, communicating, and then co-creating, I want you to focus within and connect within to your heart. And when you connect within, it brings you into relationship with the earth, Mother Earth. That's our relationship with the body. It's our relationship with nature, our relationship to this flower. You can smell it. Isn't that beautiful? My niece picked this, like a week and a half ago, and it's just beautiful. And I visited these daisies today, and I was giving energy to them, and you could just feel them dancing, them sunny and bright. And so, and then you can just really be with yourself, because everything talks and everything speaks. And if you can see that we are connected and not separate or divided, because the moment you start focusing on what's wrong, you become separate, divided, and you pull out of relationship. Even if somebody is depressed or something is really going wrong with them, in a way you can smile within, because spirit actually, if you say hello to spirit, spirit is always alive, spirit is always bright. And so you just have to make sure what you're in relationship with. And so let's all be in relationship, in creating in a new way, and tell me how these relationships, saying hello to everyone's spirit, saying hello to how you are connected. And and if somebody is in so much pain, because it's hard to be around people in so much pain, but you can say hello to their spirit. You don't need to change them. You don't need to be different. You can let them have their space. It's kind of like the one client I was bringing up who, everyone was so triggered. Everyone was in such survival. She was there 2 weeks. All she's doing is saying hello to people. She's saying hello. She's getting in relationship. And the great thing about relationship is, we're just hanging out together. And it's more than even what I'm saying. It's this movement, that this energy is moving us in a way that it's not about the words I'm saying. It's this connection and co-creation and energy, and allow this energy to move you. Because to be in a relationship, and people call me, I want to be in a relationship. Well, to be in relationship, we must be in relationship with objects, with plants and nature. We must see that everything has a vibration, everything has a spirit. And when we recognize that within each other, then we're whole. And then our relationships become so different. It's like when that accident happened to my husband long ago, he became depressed. It was, and I like took my kids out. We were having a great time, because it's either I'm going to match that, which, is kind of a lie, or he's going to match me. And so, and we just got to let go, be unattached. Isn't it fun?